Thank you very much, Mohammed, for this very helpful guide. How we will function today is critically important to receive your input through questions or through actually answering the questions raised, which is very important, and how you can raise your questions and get your replies. Thank you very much. We are already 55 connected, which is a very good number for us. And we would like again to thank our guests for being available to help today's workshop. Our first guest is Dr. Efstathios Peteves, which is the head of knowledge for Energy Union in the Energy, Transport and Climate Directorate. And he has been working for the Commission since 1987, addressing issues such as advanced materials technologies, power generation, alternative fuels, energy technologies assessment and modeling in support of energy technology and energy policy. His current focus is in the energy technology pillar of EU's energy and climate change policy. The strategic energy technology plan is one of his babies. He's working in that. He leads the Commission's strategic energy technology information system, the SETIS, as we know it, and the scientific and technical support tool to the decision-making of the set plan governance and the monitor and assessor of EU's energy technology innovation progress. So Stathi, welcome. The floor is yours to tell us a few things about the policies of EU. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Venizelos. Let me broadcast myself as well. Dear friends, colleagues, in particular, my colleagues from the JRC, but not only. Many of you, I was looking to meeting you during this week. Who would have imagined a few months ago that we wouldn't be together this week in the very crowded and often hot places in the press room across the Charlemagne, between posters, buffets, you name it. But anyhow, here we are. First of all, I wish the best to all of you, and I'm sure you're doing well, and enjoy the afternoon session. Thank you for the kind words, Venizelos, especially since you made me 10 years younger. I joined the Commission in '87. I wish it was 97, but it was 87, or maybe I misheard you. When Venizelos asked me to come in and present something, he threw at me a very appetizing title: Research and Innovation, Recovery, Research and Innovation Community, which are dear to my heart. And I happily accepted. Till a week ago, I realized I have to do everything in 10 minutes. Most likely I'm gonna fail, hopefully not miserably, and I will go through my slides quickly. Why? Because there is much to be said about it, not only in general, but also to you, that as I have heard all about the Pantera project, for which I have to be educating myself more and more since I happen, or I have the honor to be in its advisory committee. Why research and innovation is important? For the mere reason that it has been now, I would say, loosely using the word proven, that research and innovation can help the recovery and accelerate climate neutrality. Next slide, Mohammed. Next slide, please. Oh, the one before. Yeah. I try to share with you some excerpts from the Next Generation EU communication of 2 weeks ago, Repair and Prepare the next Generation. And I highlighted the things that it says about research and innovation, the role of it in driving the shift towards the 4 Cs, the clean, circular, competitive, and climate neutrality. Furthermore, how research and innovation will be essential to boost Europe's resilience and strategic autonomy based on the lessons we learned through the pandemic, as far as our supply chains are concerned. Predominantly what we learned is for health, but not only, with regard as much as with regards to technological innovation. Then another thing that he mentions, and by the way, it is very good, short, legal text of the Commission that I encourage you all to read it carefully, leisurely. Then he speaks about data sets. And that is where you come in, or communities like yours coming in, which have to be open, accessible, and available for research and innovation, but also our smaller industrial ecosystem, the SMEs. And then it speaks also about the need, as we go for the twin digital and green transition, to improve and adapt our skills, knowledge, and competencies. Next slide, please, Mohammed. Then if we go thematically, the axis that it builds upon is the renovation wave and the circularity, of course, the renewable energy, and parts of it, an important part of it is the hydrogen economy, the cleaner transport and the infrastructure related with alternative fuels, and even more so with electromobility. And the last thing, which is very important, touched by Pantera in, so to speak, isolating those countries of ours that do lesser or are less engaged in the research and innovation system, is the element of justice, the element of fairness. I mean, this transition, it will not go as well, if not at all, if it is not just transition, or as the Clean Planet for All communication said in its title, is Clean Planet for All, where we all have to go hand in hand. Next slide, please. Now, some headlines, in particular from our colleagues from our DG Science, Research and Innovation. You have all heard that although with the method still pending, that at least of 35% of funds, it will go from the Horizon Europe for climate solutions. We're about ready to advance with the Green Deal call that I will speak a bit more later, which is gonna fund about 1 billion. It is gonna come about to all of us with calls for proposals in the beginning of next year. You have heard about the Green Deal missions, the climate adaptation, ocean, cities, and soil. And then there are several European partnerships that are worked out that range from clean steel to clean aviation to blue economy. Then you have aspects about the reshaping of the EIT, the European Innovation Council, the data and the digital infrastructure that needs to be in place to support the ecological transition. Next slide, please, Mohammed. This is the structure at the moment of the Green Deal, as has been also, let's say, shared with the various program committees and in the public consultation that concluded in June, for which we had about 6,000 responses. It is covered the areas of the Green Deal that span from the increasing the climate ambition to the concomitant effects of greening, but with air pollution, energy resources efficient buildings, the industry clean and circular economy, the clean, affordable and secure energy. If you would ask me where Pantera fits in, one would say in area 2, but not only. If you look in the areas which are cross-cutting, so to speak, area 9, area 10, and area 11, this is where you're also active, yet you should be even more active. How we strengthen our knowledge, how we empower the citizens, although in your case is a smaller piece of the citizenry, namely the RNI community, and then how do we cooperate each other? We don't call it international in Europe, but still how we cooperate among ourselves. Next slide, please. Now, even more closer to your thematic foci, which, if I recall well, is the smart grids, the storage, and the local energy systems, are the upcoming strategies of the Commission, which are in its work program 2020. The smart sector integration, which is very much worked out in proposing what it needs to be done and ideas for it through the TIPSNet. I assume the audience knows these acronyms. The renovation wave, you think, what is it for us? It is a lot for you, because the renovation wave, it does not imply only insulating our homes. It implies electrifying primarily our heating and cooling systems, and also making less carbon intensive our district heating systems, networks. And the last one is the other strategy that we will come with in the fall of this year, October or thereabout, is the offshore renewable energy strategy. All these depend on electrification, as the slide portrays, networks, infrastructure carriers, which are very much embedded in the as a focus of the Pantera. Next slide, please. The next slides, because I'm sure I'm inching towards the 10 minutes, I will go through quickly, but I have to share them with you. Why? Because to my understanding, Pantera is also one of the embryos stemming out of the Strategic Energy Technology Plan initiatives. So where are we with the set plan? We started, we plan to have this year a better monitored progress report than the one in 2019. Key importance of you to contribute to it. The second is on Friday, we will have a Sustainable Energy Week session, is in the morning, where we will connect with all the implementation working groups at the set plan countries to see how the set plan also possibly realigning itself contribute to the recovery, be an important actor in the so-called next generation EU. And then later the year, we don't know yet if it will be virtual, most likely it will also be virtual. It will be the set plan conference under the German presidency in November, where there we will focus on elements that touch upon the recovery program thematically, namely the sector integration, the renovation, and the offshore renewable energy strategy. Next slide, Mohammed. Now, why the progress monitoring and reporting is important, and how you could, is not how you could, how you should contribute to it. Because if you put together whatever the set plan ambitions and, so to speak, declarations are, and you contrast that with the national energy climate plans, sometimes you see differences, sometimes you see add-ons, and you try to understand which is what it matters. And this is what is portrayed here, and you will find that in the report of 2019. And even more so, next slide, Mohammed. If you look on the findings of the report of 2019, the picture that comes up is the importance of the investments, and if the investments are manifesting the delay in progressing with our implementation plans. And this is what we try to see again this year, whereas shown in this picture, most of it is behind, with the exception of the positive energy districts. We hope to see different pictures here this year, and therefore, accordingly, as we move on with all these ample funding opportunities that may be there in the recovery package, how we can capitalize on it. Next slide, please. This is more detailed about the investments happening along the various implementation plans of the set plan, the number of countries behind it, and so on and so forth. You will have the slides, I assume, so you can look at later on. For the sake of time, let's move on. The next one, please. Okay, I thought sharing with you this last slide. And why to share it with you? To share it with you because my expectations are the likes of Pantera, and even more so broader coalitions such as Bridge, are the knowledge base for us to understand what different modeling outputs, scenarios, data are telling us, where they merge and where they diverge. This is an analysis we did on various scenarios that hint upon the hydrogen economy. And just I want you to focus on the picture for the time being and only look the size of the bubbles, the difference of the placement of the bubbles along the y-axis, and you understand the divergence that is there. The issue is not which is better or which one is most likely to succeed. The issue for the research and innovation community is to understand where each one of those stakeholders is coming about and why is portraying this picture and why it differs from the other one. Next one. Next slide, Mohammed. Now, our colleagues in RTD, and I don't know if it is one of them joining us today, they have made a very nice fact sheet and a brochure on the role of R&I in Europe's recovery. I will strongly recommend to you, whenever the session is over, or tomorrow or the next day, look at it and read it, because they're very good compendium of the thinking of the role of the R&I as we move forward beyond the pandemic, hopefully soon, but also recover quickly and advance faster towards climate neutrality. So with this one, I would like to conclude. I would like to thank again you, Venizelos, the organizers. The only thing I would, with certain unhappiness, say, I have to go about 4:15. So I will leave you about that time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stafi, for this delivery of important points and information coming from the Commission. Thank you for the advice given, and thank you for being part of this what we consider important workshop for Pantera. So we can move on to the next item on the agenda.